The moment that you walk into a baby bunting, you kind of feel like you are doing every single thing wrong, and for good reason. There is so much crap out there that you really don't need, that is so unnecessary, and that you'll use like once or twice. This is gonna be a massive list of those. I am on baby number 2, and I have massive purchasing regrets that I made with my first child, and that I will not be repeating from this baby. So hopefully you'll feel a little bit lighter, a little bit easier after watching this video. Coming in at number 1, and this was my biggest regret that is haunting me today. Right now I am sitting here and I'm like so upset that I did this, but as a first-time mom, I had made the purchase of a pram, a single pram. I went and bought a Bugaboo Fox. Why did I choose to buy this pram? Purely because of the aesthetic. I'm not gonna lie, I just really love Bugaboo. I bought the whole kit. I bought like the little capsule. I also bought the like Fox set. I urge you, if you are a first-time mom, to consider looking up a single to double pram. So that is a pram that converts from this single pram to a double pram. So if you are thinking about having baby number 2 and for whatever reason you need a second seat, you can just go ahead and buy a second seat, and you don't have to do what I'm gonna have to do, which is buy a whole new pram with 2 levels. Whilst we're on the topic of prams and travel systems, one thing that my son absolutely hated, and I don't know if he's a one-off on this, I think all babies are different, but it made me really regret this purchase, was a capsule. Now, I have the Bugaboo Turtle capsule, and oh my god, if you're planning on buying a capsule, if like nothing's gonna turn you away from buying a capsule, if you're like me, like then I really recommend buying that the Nuna Bugaboo collab turtle capsule, because oh, it is the most, it is bougie, it's beautiful, and it's also the most functional capsule ever. Like it's incredible. And it's got like the little cover up thing, so you don't have to put a swaddle over the top of your baby. It's so convenient, it's so easy to use. I just love that capsule. However, my regret on top of that about buying the capsule, and this is why I urge you to carefully think about the travel system or the pram, the single to double situation. The thing that now I have to consider as well is getting rid of the capsule, selling it, or handing it down to friends that are having babies, and buying another car seat really early on, because a Bugaboo is non-compatible with something like most tandem prams. So now what I have to do is also buy either a car seat or one of those Britax capsules, or like a Maxi Cozy capsule, and I don't want one of those. So that is my number 1 regret, and I actually don't know how I'm gonna get around it, because my baby, my toddler, won't necessarily need a pram all the time, but he'll need it sometimes, and I'm like, is it gonna be a waste of money? Should I not do it? Should I just buy a travel pram? These are the things that consume me. I'm like having really important meetings, and in the back of my mind, all I'm thinking about is like, should I get another pram? Like that is pregnancy brain right there, you guys. Anyways, moving on to item number 2, and that is a bassinet, but I think that you should have some form of a bassinet. I think that a co-sleeper is an ideal bassinet rather than a bassinet. Hear me out. With my first baby, I had a bassinet, like your standard traditional bassinet, at my in-laws' house because we stayed there with the baby all the time. At home, I had the Snooze Pod co-sleeper, which I'm gonna keep for this baby, and I've done a review of it on this channel if you wanna have a look. And whenever I was at their house, after leaving, my back would be so sore from scooping a baby up to breastfeed, from just like having to move the bassinet closer to me in the middle of the night, scooping the baby up, it just hurt so much, especially after childbirth, because it hurts your abs, it hurts everything down there, it also hurts your back. So I really don't recommend buying a bassinet. Instead, what I would opt for is a co-sleeper. Any kind of co-sleeper that can sit right next to your bed and that you can unzip and zip back up, and you just scoop your baby up and put him and feed him and do whatever you need to do. It's really, really easy. It's really convenient. And it is just something that I am so thankful that I did the first time. But the bassinet is just, it ended up being such a waste of money because it hurt my back, it hurt my stomach, it hurt my insides, and I also had a natural birth. I can't even imagine having a C-section and having a bassinet. Like that would just, I feel like that would just hurt so much. I am really passionate about number 3. Your baby. I mean, look, if you're someone who is really, really excited about doing this and has like wanted this their like whole entire life, then by all means go for it. But if you're looking for simplicity and making your life as easy as possible when setting everything up for this baby, I highly recommend avoiding a nursery, period. And I'm talking about nursery decor, I'm talking about nursery furniture. I think that it is really unnecessary. This depends on your lifestyle. So for me, my partner and I had our baby next to us for like the first 3 to 5 months, I would say, at least, before we transitioned him into his own room. Up front as well, you just want to set your whole bedroom up to have a newborn rather than setting a nursery up to have a newborn, because for those first 6 postpartum weeks, a lot of your time might be spent in bed. For me, like the first 3 weeks postpartum, I was in bed with my newborn, just feeding him all the time. I had like an iPad or a laptop in front of me and I was just binging Netflix and getting food brought to me, and I was going on occasional walks. That is all my body could handle. And so I'm preparing for that again. I would spend my time and energy into thinking about a way that you can make your bedroom nice and adaptable for you, your family, your baby, when you'll be coming home with a newborn. That might look like changing your bedside table, getting rid of all the things in your bedside table to put some postpartum things in your bedside table, or like some nappies there or some burp cloths, stuff like that, to put a TV in your room that you can watch, or like a nice artwork in your room that you'll be happy to look at sitting there after birth. That's my suggestion anyway. If you're someone who's keen on a full-blown nursery, then go for it. But for me, it was really unnecessary. Another thing that I am very passionate about is your baby's microbiome and skin health. And one thing that you really do not need is any baby skincare products, you guys. Your baby was just in this really nice chamber of fluid and comfort, and now it's come out into this world and there's all these toxins and allergens and everything, and it's really overwhelming for their skin. And so for those reasons, I really believe that's something, in my opinion anyway, that all baby skincare products should be avoided, that they're really, really harsh on that newborn skin. So that's any baby soaps, baby shampoos, baby conditioners. Like, why do you need to wash your baby's hair? Like, it absolutely makes no sense to me. There is one non-toxic exception to this. If your baby does need some moisture, if your baby does need some support with their skin, I would just go in for a pure oil, like a 100% cold pressed argan oil, or like a combination of like argan and jojoba oils, but make sure that the product is just the oil. That is it. In fact, I remember when my son had cradle cap, I would put argan oil on his head and rub it, and it would get rid of the cradle cap. So just pure oil, and your baby's gonna smell good without any fabric softeners, without any baby products on their skin. You just want to be as gentle as possible in those first couple of weeks, months, especially because they're so new to the world. They're so gentle and beautiful and delicate, and they're really adjusting to their life on earth. And so I feel like putting things on their skin can be really, really harsh. Okay, the next thing I don't really understand, like why people have this item, is like diaper warmers and wipes warmers. I think it's totally unnecessary. I did, however, I am like really, really guilty. I have wipes holders. I have these wipes holders, so I am guilty. However, is it necessary? No. In fact, this was a scenario where I was at Baby Bunting and I just thought that they looked really bougie, and I just bought them because they were really, really bougie. So, yeah, you don't need one of these. It does nothing special. It sits there and it looks really, really pretty. Moving on to the smaller things that make you paranoid whilst walking through the baby store aisle. Why do shoes exist for babies? Why? I mean, look, if you're someone who wants to see their baby in baby Air Jordans, then go for it, like just for aesthetics. But it's just really unnecessary. It's also really expensive. The other thing that is unnecessary is any sort of fancy clothes. I'm talking like baby girl dresses. You don't need that. All you need to pop your baby in for those first couple of months is a onesie. And I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I love the Bonds Wondersuit onesies. Any sort of onesie that has a double zip, that has mitten holds and has foot holds for your baby is the best thing to dress them in when they are a newborn. The next unnecessary thing is a baby bag. I love some baby bags. Like, I love those Hat brand baby bags are so cute. And if I was in the US, I'd probably opt for one of those. But most baby bags in like a Baby Bunting are they just give me a massive ick. They're just a big no-no for me. I didn't find the need for a baby bag. Like, I really think that a baby bag is super unnecessary. What I did instead of a baby bag to try and stay organized, to keep everything organized, is actually keep my things in little pouches. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So how I kept myself organized with a newborn and how I still do it is through using pouches, using these. This is just a big makeup bag. There is absolutely nothing special about this, but these are like strategic kits, if you will, strategic pouches. I'll also be setting this up for a newborn with like nappies in it and an outfit that I can just grab and go, and like maybe some nappy rash cream. That's just really easy and convenient if we're not gonna be out for a long time and I don't need a baby bag, which for a lot of cases you don't. What I used as a baby bag in the past is just a regular tote bag. So I have a Louis Vuitton GM that I used as a baby bag. The other bag that I used is the The other bag that I used as a baby bag that was really, really great is this Marc Jacob the tote bag. If I didn't feel like a Louis Vuitton GM is necessary, because my handbag, like if you know what I'm talking about, it's like bigger than this, and you really don't need anything that's bigger than this. So what I have here is like, this is a really nice size to actually have as a baby bag. It can also close and like slot in nicely underneath the pram. The next thing here is you can put one of these organizers in. This is an organizer that I purchased specifically for like putting diapers in and stuff, just because it's got holes here. This is just off Amazon. I think it was like $20-30. If you want, you can buy a baby specific bag organizer that's like designed to put diapers in and bottles in and stuff like that. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want a baby specific one, you can just use a normal one like this. And it slots into your bag really nicely. And it holds absolutely everything. And for me, that was the perfect baby bag. I also felt like it was much more aesthetically pleasing than one of those, you know, like those really ugly baby bags. I just really don't like most of them. I really, really don't. However, if someone ever bought me one of those Hat brand bags, I would be so happy because they are so bougie and beautiful looking. But that's not an option here in Australia, so. All right, so we're down to our last couple of ones, and this one I just laughed at because, man, I've bitched about this like 3 times on my channel. So like, if you've ever seen any of my videos, you'll probably know exactly what I'm about to say here. It is swaddles. Oh, let me illustrate why I do not like these swaddles. Any swaddles. With my first baby, I had like a million of these things. Everyone's gonna buy them for you as a gift. Use them as a burp cloth, which is another thing you don't need, by the way, period. Maybe my baby was like a squirmy worm, right? Where every single time I've wrapped him in this, he would eventually get out, and it just reversed the whole process of swaddling. The process of swaddling itself, you have to learn. It's frustrating. It's not good to do in the middle of the night. It's not easy for a first-time mom who's really, really overwhelmed. Once your baby is in the swaddle, it's really, really easy for them to unwrap themselves. And so once they do unwrap themselves, it's kind of a SIDS hazard, because when they unwrap themselves, they can like unwrap themselves and it can go over their head, it can go over their mouth, it can like, they can get tangled in it. So I saw this with my son, and I felt by like maybe like the first week of having him really uncomfortable using these swaddles, and I ended up just using them as like burp cloths, but they're cute blankets, or like maybe I ended up using it as like a nursing cover, just any function apart from the actual swaddling. What I used instead, and what I love and what I preach that you buy, is sleep suits. Now, hear me out. Here is a bougie sleep suit. This is Love to Dream. This is one of those ones where the baby sits there with their little arms like this, because apparently that's how they feel like really comfortable. That's like what they feel really comfortable in. And that is what my baby felt really comfortable doing the first time around. But this is really expensive, so these are really nice gifts. These are a cheap alternative from Kmart or Walmart, or I don't know what the US equivalent is, Target. They have like 3 packs of these that cost just as much, or like maybe a tiny bit more expensive than like a 3-pack of these. If I was doing this all over again, I wouldn't buy any swaddles for myself, and I would just buy a whole bunch of these, because that's just gonna save you so much hassle and so much worry, or it would have saved me that worry anyway, because it's a lot easier just unzipping and zipping something up in the middle of the night rather than wrapping this around in some peculiar way and then not sleeping because your baby might get out of it and it might cover their face. It's just, this caused me a lot of worry initially, and so I just do not like swaddles at all. Moving on from swaddles, I'm just gonna touch on this because it's probably in every single video of things that you don't need. Buttons. Button onesies are totally unnecessary. They're really hard to work through in the middle of the night, or when you're busy. They're inconvenient, and so any onesie with a double zip is ideal, and bonus points if you get a onesie with like the mittens and little footholds. My last product regret, or my last recommendation for things that you don't need, is a diffuser and white noise machine, those sorts of things. So sometimes I put these things into one item because sometimes they come in one. There's like a product that's like really expensive and it's like diffuser plus white noise machine. And hear me out. This depends on your kind of like lifestyle, whether you need a diffuser or not. If you're delivering and your newborn is going to come into the world when it's hot, then you probably don't need a humidifier in the room. The purpose of having a diffuser is to humidify a room, right? And so most of us don't need those. However, it's going to be a cold climate and a diffuser or a humidifier is something that you really need, then I highly opt against those little tiny diffusers that are like, I'll show them somewhere here. Instead, what I have is 2 of these bad boys, and they're incredible. They're ugly, but they're incredible. One of these things. If you go to the pharmacy, you will find one of these. They work. Like if you are in the cold and you're wanting a diffuser, go to the pharmacy and get yourself one of those things. They're probably going to be cheaper than the bougie ones in a baby shop with like added white noise or lights or whatever else you don't need in there, and use that, because one of those turns the room into like a steam room, and I can't tell you how great that is when your baby is sick and really needs something like that. So at the moment what I have is 2 of those, one for when we're sick for our room and one for the baby when he's sick, or when it's the winter time. And it's the same as a normal diffuser. You can put essential oils in there if you like, and it does a really fantastic job. Point number 2, white noise machines. Now I do have a white noise machine. I have 2 Ergo pouch travel white noise machines. They are amazing. They're like little ones. They're really convenient to travel with. However, I only bought that for when my child was like 6 months plus and he needed some sleep support when we're in public. Newborns tend to sleep wherever, whenever, like it doesn't really matter. Like for Lando, he was happy sleeping in a restaurant, in like a really chatty restaurant. He was happy sleeping, I don't know, in a pub. He was happy sleeping in front of the TV. Like he didn't care. It didn't bother him. Like chances are your newborn will sleep anyway. And then maybe if they're terrible sleepers, then that's something that you can get when you figure that out. For the first couple of days, like in the hospital or like whenever, if I felt like I needed some white noise, if my baby wasn't sleeping, I just went on YouTube, or I used an app on my phone that just like, it does the same thing as a white noise machine. You really don't need a white noise machine, although it can be convenient sometimes, especially if your baby's a bad sleeper. So I guess what I'm saying is you don't need to buy it before having your baby. You can buy it like 3 months along the way if you feel like that's something that you need. Okay, I feel like we covered a lot in this video. Hopefully that helps clarify some things or can put your mind at ease about all the crap for a baby that you do not need. So I think that that's it. If you have your own newborn essentials and non-essentials, pop them down below. I would love to know what you guys think. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for supporting me as a new YouTuber. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you next time.